when the theory of the WBLS was introduced to us in SLP through Dr. Cecilia Manican and Dr. Ed Morato, I realized how this theory can be able to transform the learning system that we have in the department. I have been introducing this to Ilocos Norte Division and then here in Laoag City. It is very important for our teachers to be able to recognize that everything that a learner can do depends on how they can utilize the functions of the brain. Unless we recognize that, we will not be able to maximize what our learners can do. The WBLS will serve as a tool for our learners to be able to integrate, to be able to deepen the learnings that they have in school.
Tinawag yun na whole brain learning system because ang template niyan are the 7 capabilities of a highly functioning person. A highly functioning person is able to think very well in all forms of thinking, so that's learning to think. A highly functioning person is able to do things effectively, so from thinking to doing, and then yung kanyang values are in place, that's learning to feel. Then he is able to communicate kung ano ang konsepto, kung anong ginagawa noon. So he's able to express himself very well. So that's learning to communicate. 4. Then, when you are an expert in a particular topic or when you have studied a particular topic, you begin to understand the relationships among variables. So you are able to predict patterns, meaning learning to intuit, no? And then, mayroon kang influence sa iba kasi knowledgeable ka dyan. That is leadership, learning to lead. And then, the topic that you are learning also contributes to the highest development of character. That is learning to be. But because of the whole brain learning system, lalong na-expand ang kanilang perspectives. So when there is a lot of knowledge transfer, like there are 7 in the academic, from learning to think, learning to do, learning to feel, learning to communicate, learning to predict, learning to lead, and learning to be, 7 yan, nagkakaroon ngayon ng maraming knowledge transfer. Pag maraming knowledge transfer sa brain, maraming circuitry. Pag maraming circuitry ang neural connections, that means that the child understands in a much deeper way what he is learning about. Kasi marami siyang connection, no? That's the knowledge files in the brain. Hindi lamang yan 7. 7 yan sa academic. And the academic is transposed now to character formation, which is the ethical formation of the child, and to social responsiveness, or to what we call citizenship values. So 21 learning outcomes ang hinahanap ng whole brain learning system na maging educational outcomes for every subject, for every level, and this is designed according to the ideal qualities of the ideal graduate.
Capability Building Program of SDO Laoag City in the Whole Brain Learning System Outcome-Based Education started in October 2019 with 4 phases. Okay? The training started with the core group and self-mastery, that was phase 1. Kasama dito yung ating mga education program supervisors, school heads, ang ating head teachers, and then master teachers. After the self-mastery training for this group, phase 2 started with the visioning of the ideal graduate, which is a value-laden 21st century communitarian. Along with the visioning of the ideal graduates, is the crafting also of the aspirations of SDO Laoag City. Phase 3 started in January 2020, where there were a series of trainings or write-shops conducted for teachers in the different learning areas. Doon sila nag-create ng mga end states, followed by the making of quarter plans, and then lesson exemplars. So with this capability building program of the SDO Laoag City, there were 463 teachers in the elementary who were trained 325 teachers from the junior high school, 109 teachers from the senior high school, 246 non-teaching personnel of the SDO. And after the phase 3, we have started already phase 4, which is on the assessment of the impact of this whole brain learning system program to the teaching learning process.
The output of the series of trainings on the whole brain learning system outcomes-based education were the 782 quarter plans in the 9 learning areas that includes kindergarten. These quarter plans contain the very heart of the whole brain learning system, which are the 3 learning end states, namely the academic, the value-laden, and the communitarian. In the quarter plan itself, all the 7 parts were carefully crafted, directing the arrow towards the SDO Laoag's end goal, which is producing the 21st century value-laden communitarian.
For the status of locally developed self-learning modules for SDO Laoag, we have developed a total of 985 modules for quarter 1, and for quarter 2 we have developed 1,256 modules, and for quarter 3 we have developed 125 self-learning modules for first to the 4th week of quarter 3, and the rest are still ongoing for the conformance review of these modules for quarter 3 and quarter 4.
For the status of the RBI and video lessons, we produced for quarter 1 590 radio-based instruction and video lessons, 688 for quarter 2, and these materials are being aired simulcast via different platforms of SDO Laoag City, such as DW80 93.9, Radio Pilipinas, Streamtech Channel 10, we have also Sky Cable, the Channel 9, Oplan Balik Eskwela FB page, and SDO Laoag City YouTube channel.
Sa WBLS OBE ng SDO Laoag City, inihanda din ng ating mga guro upang lalong ma-enhance ang kanilang kakayahan sa paggamit ng technology sa pagtuturo. So, nagkaroon tayo ng series of ICT trainings para sa mga guro. Ang kagandahan pa sa WBLS OBE, ang mga guro ay inihanda rin sa pag-design ng mga assessment types upang ma-assess ng maigi ang performance ng ating mga mag-aaral. For quarter 2, we were able to develop a total of 794 assessments in all learning areas across all grade levels. So, bale nandyan na yung 4 written works and 4 performance tasks.
In the WBLS OBE, all the instructional materials are aligned from the self-learning modules, radio, and video lessons. And to facilitate the production of video lessons and self-learning modules, aside from the teacher editors, we hired 8 illustrators and video editors as job orders in the SDO Laoag City. They have provided technical assistance to improve our materials and to avoid copyright issues.
Malaking tulong ang WBLS para sa akin, especially sa pag-prepare ng lessons creatively and systematically because it is anchored with one common objective, which is the mother and states, kung saan gusto nating develop ang ideal graduate ng SDO Laoag City who is value-laden, 21st century communitarian. So I draw from the learning and states those that I want to develop on my students.
Nagbigay ng malaking opportunity ang WBLS OBE para sa akin to collaborate with other teachers from different schools in crafting common end states and richer strategic activities in the development of the 7 self-mastery skills. Through the collaboration of teachers, better instructional materials are being developed. hence increasing the confidence of teachers to carry out the learning plans. After identifying the capability trainings for the teaching and non-teaching personnel of the division, the for comprehensive reviews and HRTD fund was not enough to implement these programs. And the solution for the scarcity of the budget, through the leadership of our SDS, she requested additional budget amounting to 10 million pesos, and it was granted and implemented.
What is beautiful about the WBLS is that it depends on how our teachers are going to plan their lessons so that all the 7 self-mastery skills of a child is being covered. So actually this is a concept that encompasses all possible facets of learning, and it actually allows integration of newer concepts, just like, for instance, the ICT integration blends well with the WBLS concepts. So I believe that whatever programs and projects that are available in a division such as ours, it will naturally be fitted into the whole brain literacy system concept, and it will naturally give us what we want to achieve in outcomes-based education. Well, I believe the whole brain literacy system is and will help any division at that to come up with workable delivery of basic education services.